welcome back to the Infinite Life podcast. My name is Katish Haberfield, and this week we are in the presence of three beautiful ladies who joined us for the Starseed season, which is season 4. So this is the second Starseeds panel, and I'd like to welcome Isaya,
Hey,
Vivian,
hello,
and Cindy. So we are a global contingency here today. So we have Cindy's in Australia like me, and Isaiah, where in the world are you at the moment? You're at home, right?
Yeah, I'm at home in France.
France. And Vivian, where are your parents? You're in Spain still?
Yes, it's Spain, in Madrid.
In Madrid. Yeah. Okay. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. So I'm not sure if any of you ladies have had the chance to listen to the other panel yet, which went live yesterday or the day before. Oh, no. Lost track of time. No. Okay. Yeah.
I haven't either.
That's all right. So you can go back and watch that if it interests you. But the whole point of getting you back together is that, as Miles and Megan and Erica pointed out quite rightly, that in all 4 seasons of the podcast so far, I have never had anybody on to tell people what the experience was like. I've only ever recorded a full session whilst you're all under hypnosis, and nobody has ever come back to explain what it was actually like, what perceptions were, what surprised them, what shocked them, what made sense, what made no sense at all, and how it had impacted their life, or what had changed, what hadn't changed. And so Miles said for himself, it was exciting for him because it was his chance to actually talk it through out loud, to do an extra layer of processing his sessions. And he said, I've been on many sessions, but this one here was the most different out of all the sessions. So it's great to have the opportunity to talk. So what I wanted to do was to give you that voice whilst you're awake and conscious and working in the you of now, the currently incarnated version that I know personally. Thank you for joining. Now, we have already talked to Isaya originally on her desire to sign up to the Starseeds season. Vivian didn't get a chance. She just was automatically roped in because she spent a month with me. And so we had some very interesting sessions. And Cindy, you were allowed to opt in from memory. Yeah. Why did you choose to come on board to the Starseeds season, Cindy?
Curiosity was my main drive, and I just the curiosity just built, and I just had to do it. Basically, I just couldn't ignore it anymore.
Okay. Interesting. And what's been very interesting is that since the season, I've been getting very specific messages from people who have never had anything to do with me, but will come across the videos on YouTube or listen to them on the podcast, who they're not even in my circle of network. They'll say, I can see everything that your clients are seeing. I know what they're going through. Do you know what I mean? They can actually see, and they validate, and they'll give me little bits of information as well. They'll be like, when they were doing this, what was happening? And I'm like, you tell me, what did you see? So it's very interesting that people are now starting to find the sessions, and what's happening is that it's because they can see and understand what you went through in those sessions. They're like, oh, this is really interesting to me. If I can see and understand, and I feel a similar emotion to what this person is going through, maybe I have been there as well. So it's starting to open up an expanded network. So for those who are listening along, Isaya is our famous celebrity because she's the one that this season is named after. When Isaya went back, way back in season 1, I think it was, spontaneously into a lifetime not on Earth at Mintaka. And that was when I realized how little I knew about the fact that you could incarnate on other locations. I'd had quite a closed mind before that and thought that reincarnation was just an Earth-based thing. But when
so did I, just so you know.
Okay. So when you said Mintaka, and I was like, what? I was thinking it was some kind of a city on Earth that had, like Atlantis or wherever, washed away. And I was like, sorry, say that again. So that sort of opened up my mind, and I was like, oh, hang on. And I hadn't at that time read any of the work by Dolores Cannon in terms of her sessions that she did. She was alive, taking people to other lifetimes. So when we were recording the Starseed season, I was doing it off a purely fresh, blank mind in terms of I didn't bring any prior knowledge to the season. So I wasn't trying to drill for or create bias. I honestly, all I knew about Starseeds at that time was that there were some people that were Hay House authors that were writing books on Starseeds, and that there seemed to be a lot of quizzes on the internet that you could take to see what type you were. And very interestingly, on the season, almost everyone came from places other than where the collective discussion on Instagram and YouTube is about Starseeds. So I found that very fascinating. Isaya, you had three lifetimes revealed, one on Mintaka, which is a water-based planet. You had one on the orange planet, and one which we'll call Arcturus. So they were three. Then Cindy, in the season we viewed on the podcast, you had two, one with Luxorian and one with the Dragon of the Sea. And then Vivian, we just did the one on the Starseeds season with your galactic mother, Quan. So they're all very, very different. Here's my list of questions here. Who would like to start us off with, or if you'd like to just tap into each other, wondering what you expected going into the season when it was your turn to do your session? What did you expect? You've all done past life regressions with me before.
I'll start. I had no idea what to expect. I probably in the back of my mind was expecting to have nothing happen, basically. Because I was quite skeptical. I was pretty sure that I wasn't of Starseed origin in any way, shape, or form, and didn't think I'd had that. But I had the real curiosity to find out. So, yeah, I think I was expecting nothing, really.
Okay, yep. And Vivian came through from a spirit releasement session. So we found Quan first, who was her mum, who was attached to Vivian. We released Quan with the promise that we would go back and visit the location that she came from. And Vivian, do you remember, because it's quite a while ago now, you were one of the very first sessions last year. Do you remember what you felt like when we promised Quan that we would go back? How did you feel about promising to go back and what you might find with Quan and where she lived?
I was really curious. Yeah, and actually I listened to the episode recently. I listened to the session recently. And I was very intrigued because it was such a surprise. I had very little knowledge about starseeds and being able to reincarnate in other locations. And it was so mysterious to find out that I had this attachment, like a galactic mother. What is this? It was really weird, but fascinating at the same time. And I was very curious to learn more about that lifetime and what it was like to be there. Because one thing that I remember from that session, from the spirit releasement session, was the love. The love of my mother towards me and the sense of protection. And that was so beautiful to feel. And yes, I was very curious about going and seeing what it was actually like. I'd never had a similar experience. It was like mind-blowing.
And Isaiah, you had quite the emotional session too, because we found Glock through spirit releasement as well. That was another shock, wasn't it? Because we weren't expecting a galactic mother as well. So we had two galactic mothers.
No, for me, the thing that I was not expecting is that there was more than one.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, it's crazy enough that I would have a galactic past in one planet, not two, let alone three. It was like, oh no, this doesn't make sense. And at the same time, the instant that there was a second one, the first one felt more real, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Because it's okay, it's not just a figment of my imagination, because I've got a very vivid imagination, but not that good one that I could actually create that. I was not expecting another one. I was expecting a confirmation, let's put it this way, proof. And the proof came in this very unexpected way of, hey, you might have been at several other locations in several other lifetimes. And
what's interesting about that is when we think about Earth and how many times we incarnate on Earth, that we can be here for thousands or hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. Yet in the Starseed season, everyone went to different locations. They never went back to the same location twice. So for those people who had 3 or 4 lifetimes that they discovered, they were all on different locations. So it opens up the possibility of how many different locations. And the answer is, how long is a piece of string? Because if energy can't be destroyed and always exists, then, and if we talk about people moving through planetary systems, universes, multiverses, then if you have always existed, then it just keeps on going back and back, or forward, sideways, whichever way you want to take it. It is quite fascinating. One of the other things that I thought that was very interesting too, and it really didn't click to me until I was chatting on my interview with a gentleman, Mark Beale, who trained me in spirit releasement therapy. And he was talking about how when my dad attached to me, and I was talking about the fact that how emotional I felt and whatever. And he's like, get over it. He's just one of your dads out of a very large number of them. And I was just like, yeah. But I like that one. And when we watch both of you and the emotion that Vivian and Isaya went through with their mothers, it's, you have a mother right now in this lifetime, and then you have all these other mothers in past lives or concurrent lives on Earth, and then there's all these other mothers in many other locations. So it's interesting when you look at that from a grief perspective, that if we don't release the grief when a family member or somebody special to us dies in this lifetime that we're currently incarnated, and we hold on to that through all the incarnations, it gets really messy and really heavy with grief, doesn't it? And we saw that in your 2 mothers in terms of just how much the grief held them back. Isaiah, I think, to the point that she forgot she even had other children, right? Or was that yeah,
I think it was Vivian, but
not Vivian. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it was me. Okay.
Yeah, like, how can you forget you have other children because you're attached to this one being?
And I think it goes both ways up to a certain extent. I believe that in our current incarnation, if I'm also holding on to all these mothers, then I'm also preventing them. It goes both ways. It does feel amazingly freeing to not bear the weight of that other mother and the grief around, and her grief and my grief. It does feel like, I can't describe it better than that.
Absolutely. So One of my questions that I had to ask you was, in each of your lifetimes that you found, and whoever wants to answer first can answer, step in, you met a number of different guides. You also met obviously the you of that time, and then there were other characters, shall we call them, mothers, brothers, sisters, soulmates who were incarnated with you. Have any of you been able to, through meditation or daily light language, painting, journaling, whatever it is, kept that connection going? Have you had any discussions with visitations from dreams of the people that you met in those lifetimes in the hypnotic state?
Not in, sorry, can I go? Not like you describe it, but a slightly different way. I believe that I have met in real life, like in this life, people who have met somewhere else and sometime else. And that I now can say, hey, this one was there with me in a different form. If he would be my husband now, he was somebody else. But there seems to be a theme to the people in my lives, let's put it this way. And it's been really interesting to witness, to, you know, start recognizing people from other incarnations.
And what's the way that it happens for you? Is it like you look at their eyes and you get a sun recognition, or how does it work for you? Because it happens for me now too. I know instantly.
I don't know if it's instant. I think it happened twice ever since the episode or the session. And it happened in a way that it suddenly, somebody was there already in my life. It's not somebody new that I've just met. It's like, hey, I've seen you before. Suddenly they seem familiar from, I'm going to make a really weird parallel. If you go into a shop every day at Starbucks or whatever, and you see this woman behind the cashier and she's wearing this uniform and she's always there, and then you meet the same person in a cafe, in a completely different cafe, and she's sitting or in a bench, and you see her and you don't recognize her, although she is familiar. Like this, it's, I don't know where I've seen you before. Oh, now I know. Yep. Suddenly it feels, oh, I know you. And I'm not going to give names or anything, because these are real people and I guess they have their own lives also. But it's, yeah, this woman who is in my world, and she has been for a couple of years or 3 years, and suddenly it's, oh, but we were mates in that butterfly planet thingy.
Oh, right. Okay.
In there.
So you found somebody who was in the butterfly planet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, at least I'm sure she was. You know, maybe they weren't, but you know.
No, yep. Vivian or Cindy, any contact for you guys?
Yeah,
ladies?
For me, it hasn't happened to me in the way that Isaya was describing. I don't identify anybody that I know currently from those past lives, but I have kept the connection with my galactic mother. Sometimes she comes through in meditation. I can feel her energy, and actually she wanted us to keep that connection, and one of the messages that came through was that if I wanted to connect with her, that she would come through me through blue light. And sometimes while meditating, I see that the blue light, or I feel the energy, and it's actually quite beautiful, because for me, it's like the energy of unconditional love. And sometimes, of course, I have felt that unconditional love in this lifetime, but sometimes when I want to connect with that feeling, I think about her. And it's beautiful, because I I can somehow feel that her presence, that she's not gone. It's not, but she's there in a different way, not like when she was attached to me that was limiting me. And it was actually limiting me in my relationship with my own mother, physical mother in this lifetime.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, and actually our relationship, she triggered me very much, my mother, my actual mother, and that was healed from that, when my galactic mother was released. It was instant. It was really magical. And so I don't
I'm sorry to interrupt,
way.
but I have felt exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
My mom from this lifetime ceased to be a constant trigger for everything. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's perfect. It was the same for me. Yeah, it was like a constant trigger, and it disappeared. It was like instant, and I think our relationship has healed so much since that session. So now I can connect to my galactic mother without that feeling of, it was like I don't know, but it felt trapping. It felt like I was trapped, like my freedom was limited. And now I can connect with her without that feeling. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Perfect.
On the other hand, my galactic mother does not want to connect with me for a while. She has freed me, and I have freed her as well from the concern or the care. And so I have been light language activated. And so I do these little drawings. And I know that this is a communication with her also. So I do them regularly, and I'm having loads of fun with that. I don't know what they mean, but I'm sure that they are communication with her. But it's like also when you grow up and you feel you don't need to have your mother all over the place, it's like she feels that. I can not be responsible for Isaya anymore. And
well, she had a whole new planet change. Sorry, I just noticed my I think that one of the things that was very interesting about Glock is that when you listen to, and it's hard when we don't have Katie here, when you listen to Katie's episode, you both came from the orange location. And we learnt from that the planet was destroyed and that Glock moved to a new place. And Katie got to experience the new place. And I hope that at some stage in one of our sessions, you'll get to go to the new place, because holy smokes, Katie was just like, I'm never coming back. I'm like, no, stop. You don't no. She was just like, oh my goodness. It was just like this. Katie was like, there was no pain, there's no fear. It's just wonderland. So perhaps Glock is truly just having fun.
Yeah,
she's
good for
in
her.
A fantasy world that's just mind-blowingly good. That's what I'm hoping. The light language is a common theme. So in the other Starseed panel, the theme was that they were all particular healers. If you remember listening to them, Erica, Miles, and Megan all were beings who were on call centers or in buildings or ships, who were communicating with beings of all locations, but specifically humans, to transmit messages to help people who were asking for questions. That was their common theme, and they found that very interesting in terms of that they'd all lived these multiple lifetimes in these environments that we would call as humans like call centers, receiving messages for help. With you ladies, it is all about the elements and about the fact that very specifically you three received light language activations. And I know Cindy has, if you can have a look at the picture behind Cindy, if you are watching this, or if you are listening to the podcast version, if you go and have a look at the YouTube version, you'll see the portrait of the tiger. Can you pronounce? Vishray. And incorporated in that, and it's too far away to show you, is the light language. And so Cindy now does do light language in her paintings. So Cindy, how you want to tell us about your journey with light language, and then we'll ask the other ladies to continue on with Isaya's discussion on light language.
I don't really know what to say. It was just there afterwards. Like literally, all I need to do is center myself and close my eyes, and I can see the light codes everywhere. And sorry, Henry wants to say hi. And yeah, the light codes just come in constantly. So, yeah, it basically turned on a switch, and that's it. All the time now.
And Vivian, for you, the light codes, do you draw them, see them, speak them, move them?
I don't speak them. I see them, and that happens sometimes when I'm in my private sessions, like giving healing or doing meditations for my clients. The light codes just come in. They show up. I just see them. I don't really understand them. They're just there. And sometimes I do feel a certain specific energy related to specific codes, and I can see the theme that more or less what's going on with the codes, but I don't consciously understand them. But I see them. I haven't drawn them, but they come up, especially in healing sessions. Yeah.
My understanding is that the light codes, the light language, is not meant to be understood by the human conscious mind. It's a super conscious mind thing. However, I do understand from seeing other people who do light language that for them, and again, it's very different for each person, that they may ask for a transmission based on a particular theme or energy or problem, and then they will receive the light codes in answer to it, and then that's how they know that it matches it. So they're more of they're asking for help, then they get the light codes in answer, whereas you three, it's the opposite way around. You receive it, and then your mind interprets it however it wants to be interpreted at the superconscious and subconscious level. And it's also different because some people will use their hands and transmit the light language. Some people will dance, some people will sing it or speak it, and then others will draw. But yeah, so I was just curious as to how it was coming through for you.
Yeah.
Now, the other element that was common for all of you was your knowledge and gifts in other lifetimes with the elements. So, Isaya, we had water, obviously, in Mintaka was very important to you. Whoop, she's just gone.
We lost her.
No, I'm there, but my internet connection is slow, so I'm turning off my camera for just a minute.
Okay, no worries.
Hopefully, I hear you.
No worries. We had water, and then the interesting thing with you was that the healing gifts that were identified were the ability to understand emotion and thoughts through touch, telepathy, and so the empathy came through there, but also that, and this is an interesting question that I'd like to ask you about, and don't want you to feel like I'm the teacher and you're the naughty schoolgirl, but we talked about the fact that your mother Glock had specifically trained you to be able to sense and understand what people were going through using touch telepathy, and that you could be almost like the human oracle card.
Yes, my dear. I know. I'm going to answer your question. And what's the question? Do I dare to be a human oracle card? No, for now I don't. It's linked with two things. I love oracle cards because I love painting and images, and they open up my imagination. So I consider that I use them as the support. And also it's like less frightening, both for me and for the people I work with, to have, instead of having me just jotting them what I feel, it seems to make more sense for both me, my rational mind, and some of my clients to still use the oracle cards. But I know I'm not, how can I say that? I know that they're not, the cards themselves are just a bit of paper with ink on it. It's just, and the magic is in me, basically. I don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of them completely or not. I'm open to creating my own brand of being an oracle. Maybe I'll go in Delphi in Greece and do that straight from there.
Maybe. Could be great. Great from the source.
Before I give back the mic, I just wanted to say something about the light language, because there has been a new development. I wanted to share that with you guys. Ever since I listened to Katie's episode, where you at some point mentioned to her that she can, or she will, or she was going to sing the light language. Yesterday I was driving and I started singing, and it wasn't words.
Cool.
So,
Very cool.
Who knows? Who knows?
Excellent.
Just came. It was just like, okay, why not? And then I remembered in my car that I used to do that as a child. I used to sing what I called yogurt words.
Yogurt words. Excellent.
Yeah. Yaourt in French, it has got this sound that comes from a different language, basically. And so I remember that when I was a child, like 3-4-year-old, I used to sing all the time in a language that wasn't any known language to men.
Excellent.
So yeah, interesting.
Great. That's perfect.
Sorry, just back to the light language.
No,
so
it's
yeah,
great. That's great. That's great. Because there is healing to be gained for you and for the people that happen to hear it. And I've been talking to Cindy privately about the fact that I have made some very large assumptions and possibly haven't been very clear enough with clients that once you have these activations, I have been a little bit too, off you go now, kids. You can do it all by yourself. And I've realized that it's quite a large expectation that is unrealistic. There is more guidance available to you. Just because you had the one session that went into these locations doesn't mean that you can't ever go back there in regression or in a regression session. You don't show a child how to tie their shoelaces once and say, that's it, dude, you've got to tie them by yourself forever. And so I do say a disclaimer that I have been quite, I'm not sure the right word, but unrealistic about expectations in terms of letting people. Yeah. So yeah, if you want extra
I think
guidance,
that there is at least a part of me that was as surprised as you were when I ended up in Mintaka the first time. And it does take at least some time and taming of this huge thing. Like, fuck's sake, even past lives 10 years ago, I would have just dismissed like being completely crazy. Now, okay, let me breathe into this. Starseed, And then it's one of those things, like most of the invisible, that when you start reading about it, it's not always helping because there are so many versions, so many personal takes on it. Some of them resonate, some of them, I don't want to be judging them for being right or wrong because I don't have a clue. But sometimes that's why I'm so happy to be here on this panel and to discuss with other people and see that. And I listen religiously to the episodes of your podcast because it feels, oh gosh, I'm not alone. Even if I'm alone on that particular planet, but I feel less weird. Let's put it this way.
I think that it's a good point, because comparing yourself with, say, somebody else who claims to be a Mintuckan, for example, but has a totally different experience. It's like saying, I come from Earth, and you're like, where on Earth did you live and at what time frame? Because, if you incarnated once and only and you were in the Roman Empire, you're going to be different than if you incarnated in and lived in Paris in 2023.
Absolutely.
Just to put it out there that you are not supposed to have the same experience as somebody else. Because
and if we don't, it doesn't mean mine is right and theirs is wrong, or the reverse. Just so for me, it's been a big permission slip, giving myself permission repeatedly to own that experience and to tame it. It's huge, like your tiger, Cindy. I need to go there step by step. And I know that there are other things that you mentioned in the episode or in the sessions, and that I'm still not even looking at. It's okay, the healing hands, for instance. Not now. It feels like I'm, taming my own greatness or bigness, or I don't know what the word is in English. The size of who my soul is. Let's put it this way.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that I'd like to bring out, and I hope as I process this, for me, myself, I do my own sessions with Cindy, and for me, it's my own, exactly the same. I go through the same processing, and there are some days that I have a shower and I think, am I just absolutely bonkers? Really, like I look at myself in the mirror and I think, oh, Katish, really? Could you just have had a simple job or a simple life and just never thought about this? And the answer is no. But it's to also to know that with all these complexities about the things that you can and can't do, or have that and haven't tapped into, or still have the ability to tap into, I guess my questions, and when I make these statements, are just there to remind you of the huge levels of things that you can tap into. Because at the end of the day, my point is, and I'm going to read you this quote because I'm starting the spirit releasement season, just finalizing all the episodes and everything. So I was reading from Dr. William J. Baldwin, who was a clinical psychologist. He had a PhD and he studied spirit releasement therapy for his PhD, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I'd like to do that. Anyway, his answer here, this quote I want to read to you, is the client has all the answers to all of their own problems. The solution lies within each person. It is the therapist's job to assist in the discovery. And so for me, although we all help people in our own fields, we all assist and guide people. What I want to remind people is that coaches and psychics, mediums, they all have an interpretation, a viewpoint that may be helpful and can assist us and can be stepping stones for us, just as the cards are or whatever it is. But ultimately, your soul knows the answer. And I want people to understand that trust is the biggest component in it. If you can overcome your own fear of weirdness of your own self, and trust in what has been shown in you in the sessions, and trust that when you're ready to take the next piece of the pie and interpret it and understand it and embody it, you have all the answers that you've been going to other people to seek for them to tell you what to do. And so the more that we can encourage all people who help people to do similar to what we do in guiding them to find the answers within themselves, the less we put other people up on a pedestal and say, well, I have to do this because they said it was what I was here to do, or they said this was the best way, or try and fit people into boxes when we have the answers. But unfortunately, knowing that we have the answers means that we have to do the work, and that takes time and bravery, courage, emotional resilience, and I guess a willingness to stare yourself in the face.
And faith.
Faith, yes, absolute faith.
Faith in the resources that I can find when I need them. So inside, outside, and the outside, I want to, because you mentioned the elements. So I want to say that I just finished a vision board, which is all about the elements.
Oh, great.
And I didn't do it on purpose.
Okay.
Because I do intuitive vision boarding. So I just start with things, and then it ends up that there's the 4 elements there. And I'm in the process of writing a 4 elements oracle deck, creating it. So, but one of the things that for me has been really reassuring in terms of dealing with the hugeness of what I'm uncovering layer by layer is the fact that I am incarnated. And so to get in touch with the elements, the ones that we can touchy-feely right now, has been, I know that there's everything inside. I know that there is no guru that can help me or that will conclude, have a definitive opinion, but I do trust that if I'm incarnated in this body right now, it means that some of the solutions are around me, on the earth, in the air, the fire, the water, that I can find them and take strength from that also. Because for me, one of the major fears with all these discoveries is that it's all disincarnated. And I think I'm afraid to just float away into the multiverse and never actually come back.
Okay.
So I anchor myself into this incarnation with the help of elements.
Okay. Just a reminder too, though, that they're not disincarnated because all time is concurrent. So they exist right now. It's just that our human brain sees time as linear. Time stacks.
You're right.
Time, if you want to think of time in a human context, think of it as vertical rather than horizontal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think your point is valid and very good. That's exactly how you should use the elements, but also take faith in the fact that there is no such thing as death.
No, of course.
Sure, Isaya will die, but Isaya's just moving. She's just going for a costume change, and actually it's all a hologram, and Isaya of all times is all here all at once forever. And what I'd love everybody to be able to do, and I've been able to do it at a small extent myself, is to know that you can so-called reach into the ether and pull out the you of whichever incarnation you want and have a conversation with them. Say, what do you do? I'm stuck right now. You've got a different perspective. Let's meet in the middle.
Interesting.
Vivian, how have you, yours? I'm just rereading my notes here. I've written down here the notes in my notes that you were given permission to see with your third eye and to use the blue purple energy and to get, here's the tie back to the elements I was looking for, messages in the air.
Exactly. Yes.
So the air, how has the air? Have you tapped into the air? Have you figured that one out yet?
Yeah. It's not that I have figured it out because it's not a conscious thing, but I actually think, and that awareness came to me as I was having a walk a few days ago, that actually it's as if light codes traveled through the air, and yeah, and so I receive them through the air. Yeah. And of course, it's not, as we were saying before, it's not like conscious messages that can be put into words. It's more like an energy. But it's very interesting. And it's something that, because there's a part of me that always likes to understand things like in my mind. And that's a funny thing because I work with energy and all the things, and there are some things I do that cannot be understood with the mind, but there's still that part of me that needs to grasp it, and it's something that can't be, the mind will never understand it. It's not something that can be consciously explained or whatever. And I have this sometimes like this thing, like this sort of like argument between this two parts of me, like this one that doesn't need the mind at all and perfectly understands without understanding intellectually, and there's the other part of me that needs an intellectual understanding and putting it into words and analyzing it. So it's like these two parts of me are like, sometimes they fight with each other, and sometimes it's like a push and pull, and sometimes I'm more with one and sometimes I'm more with the other. So when I had that walk, and when I took that walk, and it came to me like, oh, okay, these are light codes in the air. And there was like this, my mind went, what's all this about, and all the things. But yeah, I think it's like this is constantly unfolding. It's like constantly discovering like new things and new, I don't know, little things that I hadn't seen before that all come through from the same experience of going back to that lifetime and the relationship with my galactic mother and all that. And I know that there are like so many gifts in there that I still haven't tapped into, that will come in when they need to. But yeah, it's much more than can be mentally grasped. Yeah.
So what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, you do know, Vivian, that the element of air is linked with the mind.
Absolutely.
And the thoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's no wonder that's the element that that I was told to listen to. I remember that very vividly from that session, that I was meant to listen to the messages from the air that came through the air. Yeah.
What came to me while you were saying that is that I think that's how you will eventually tap into the Fae.
Yeah, possibly. Yes, that
through
makes
the
a lot
air.
of sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Cindy. So, Cindy, you have lightning. And we know from your flame red hair that fire is also another element which have come in other sessions.
Yep.
And we've done a bit of work with lightning recently, but has how's your experience with the elements been unfolding? Anything unfolded for you?
When we did the Starseed sessions, it took me a long time to let that integrate and come to terms with and all of that, because like I said, I went in with the expectation that there was actually going to be nothing there.
Yep.
When there was lifetimes there, it's taken my little human mind a bit of time to get that, to comprehend all of that and what it entails and what it means and all the rest of it. And you're right, it hasn't been until these recent sessions that things have started to click together much more. These last few sessions that we've been doing together have made things start to slot into place a lot more.
That's what I find, is that when you look at a season or a session just by itself, or just orange hands from a nail polish remover, it doesn't make sense. But when you can piece them over a series of, say, 10, so I know Vivian's done 10 sessions, Cindy's done 9 sessions. Yeah. And for people who are listening that think past life regression, a life between lives, Starseeds is like a one and done deal. It can be one and done, but it's not until you put it into the greater context that you actually see where things come through, and you'll have elements from other sessions come through, and 6 sessions down the road, oh, that makes sense now. I've got cockatoo hair because I've got so much heat coming off my head. It's like I've got a fire.
We are talking about elements today.
Yeah. Oh, it's like my head is on fire with the energy up here right now. Barely keep my headphones on. Yeah, so it's interesting, like with Cindy, obviously she does a lot of private sessions, but pieces are coming through that we then go back through the notes and go, oh, that's what that was related to, and that was 4 or 5 sessions ago. So yeah, it is all about the integration and continual discovery. I wanted to ask you if you had comments about what was interesting that you saw or listened to in one of the other ladies' sessions that are here tonight. So let you have a bit of a free flow if you wanted to ask each other anything about what you saw, heard, or remembered, or you wanted to make any comment about each other's sessions. You don't have to, but I was just thought if you had something that was a burning observation.
I would.
But, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I was quite taken back by the unconditional love that I felt listening to the mother sessions, both Vivian's and Isaya's, like that bond being so strong. And yeah, that was quite emotional for me listening to those sessions. Yeah.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. But also, I was really interested in in your sea dragon situation, Cindy. It felt, a different water situation. And for me, the water has been coming strong. Really, I've always known in this incarnation that I've got this connection with water, but it's getting bigger. It's getting out of control, to be honest, and I love it. So it's great to experience a different way of being in the water, being a water person or a water being. And I really loved it. It felt, you took me on, your episode took me on a real trip, hallucinative one. Let's put it this way. And I'm not going to comment on Katie's episode because she's not here, but
hopefully we'll get a chance to
someday, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a separate episode with the two of you. That would be really fun. So I wanted to ask you if you wanted to sum up, to look at any positive changes in your life since your session. These sessions were recorded quite a while ago now. I know they only just went live, but we did them, I think they were around about June, July, August. Katie slid in because of scheduling issues right late at the end of last year. So hers is probably the freshest. But for the, I think Vivian was one of the first ones. If you had somebody that's listening that listened and resonated to your episode, but they were like, why on earth would I want to find out? Why should I do something like this? In your personal reflection, what has been the benefit for you other than just pure curiosity?
For me, it was
would say,
sorry,
go on.
Isaya, you go on.
Okay. For me, it's sheer curiosity, and that I would like to insist on how big this is, because that means, of course, it's not curiosity. It's about uncovering who I am. And it is big enough to be a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's also given me mostly the amazing and still unfolding trust in myself.
Great.
Trust in what I hear, see, feel, believe around my life or my lives and around other people's. So it's kind of it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not finished unfolding any of that, but there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of, I'm not crazy after all.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing. And so that's from my own sessions, obviously, but also from listening to other people's. And the trust, that's the major thing, the trust in my memories. Let's put it this way. And this thing that, you know, yes, it's all in my head, but my head is right. My head is, this is true. And this is very good for me. Let's put it this way, very reassuring on me not being completely a cuckoo, basically. And I come from in this lifetime, I come from a family of very rational minds, where even I come from, and I'm married to a guy whose beliefs are that what you can't see doesn't exist, basically. So you can imagine how much I need to trust myself to keep walking. And yeah, this has been life-changing. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming along for the ride.
Yeah, and fun, sorry, and very fun.
Yeah.
So many huge trips.
Vivian?
Yeah. For me, in the practical sense, what I said before about healing the relationship with my mother has been absolutely incredible and really important. Right now, we're going through some health threats that she's been going through, and having had that healing before, prior to everything that's going on right now, is such an incredible gift, because I can approach the current situation from an entirely different place, and I can be more present. I don't get triggered anymore. I mean, that, how huge is that? And so being able to be present for her without all those little things that were like the noise all around, and being able to be fully present with love is absolutely huge. That's from a very practical point of view. But from a bigger perspective, I agree with what Isaya was saying. Just getting to actually know yourself and actually know how incredibly bigger you are than what you actually see in this current lifetime and with your present life circumstances and all the things, and knowing that it's much, much bigger. And actually, I could see that those lifetimes, and that's only like a glimpse of all the vastness and the hugeness of who I am. And that is such a huge gift. And also the possibility of connecting with past knowledge and abilities that you've had through other lifetimes, and that you probably, they are there, and you can tap into them and you can use them in this present lifetime. You don't remember, or you're not aware that they are actually there. It's amazing. It's incredible. Also, really grateful to you. It's been such a beautiful journey. And as I said, it's still unfolding. So there are still gifts to come from all those sessions. But I really recommend this. This is an experience that, you know, if you want to evolve as a human being, if you want to get to know yourself better, if you want to grow, this is an essential path for me. And that's something that I discovered with the sessions, because it was completely new to me. I'm really grateful. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out there that for people who are listening, Vivian didn't actually specifically consciously choose to work on issues with her mother. So it's because of the healing. It's a secondary effect. It's a rolling on effect. So she didn't come to me and have a session and say, I need to fix this or whatever. This was the result of the releasement. And before I ask you, Cindy, the point that came to my mind as you were speaking this is, as Isaya and Vivian have both said, we're still learning about the abilities and the different things and growing into them. But so the gifts that you've got from the session and the new clarity, remembering that you're a being that's concurrently existing in multiple locations, in multiple dimensions, you don't know what the gift is that you've given them.
Mm-hmm.
Just as you can now learn some of their abilities, if you wish to and wish to tap in, there's the possibility as well to be open to that. Perhaps the biggest gift of all is that you have done something that has released something very important, an emotion, given them insight into your world that has bigger consequences for the development of your soul in other lifetimes that you weren't aware or will never be aware of right now. That
you
was
mean there's
gift.
a Katish Haberfield in Mintaka doing sessions with myself over there.
What I mean is that in
I love it.
any of you,
I love
all of your other personalities may have received a healing from the insight that they got from Isaya.
I love it. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's not
beautiful.
to be forgotten, is that sometimes, as Miles said in one of his sessions, oh, that's right. He cracks me up. He called his spirit guide Glenn, and Archangel Michael just thought it was hilarious because he was like, of all the things you could have come out with, Glenn is not his name, but nice try, nice try, Miles. And Miles' summary was, when he was finishing up the episode, he comes out with these pearls of wisdom, was sometimes it's those that stand forward and choose not to be named that we receive the greatest gifts from. I was like, yeah. And maybe the entire point is not what you are expecting to receive from a session in this lifetime, but that which you are inadvertently giving to yourself of other lifetimes.
For our mothers.
Or your
From other
mothers. Yes,
lifetimes.
mothers. Other souls that you've interacted with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Cindy,
Yeah.
your wrap up.
I agree with what both Vivian and Isaya have already said. Probably the most immediate effect that I got from the session was the stronger connection with my higher self. That was pretty much instantaneous. I felt a much stronger connection. I felt it much easier to operate from that higher consciousness position. So, like, I didn't get as pissed off with anybody. I didn't get angry like I would normally all the time. All those sort of things. I felt it much easier with any difficult situations that came up in this lifetime to navigate those from just that higher perspective. And yeah, they didn't rile me up and everything like they used to. And that has only got better over time since then as well. Also, I don't tend to get really angry and pissed off anymore. Whereas if you knew me prior, that was like all the time.
I find it hard to believe. Isn't it interesting?
I could get angry just at the television.
Really?
Yeah. So that has been definitely the first and biggest roll-on effect. And slower integrating has been the comprehension and understanding that I do have all these different abilities and everything right there at my fingertips that I just can tap into. And yeah, slowly integrating all of that. And yeah,
Perfect.
bring it all through.
Thank you very much, ladies, for joining me today. And I'll just officially end this session now before we go. So thank you to listeners for listening to the Starseeds panel number 2. For the moment, we don't have any sessions organised with the other members. They weren't available, but should in the future they be available for a couple of catch-up chats, then we will bring them back on to talk to various members. So hopefully we might get Katie and Isaya to do a session in the future, but we will be taking a couple of weeks break after this now as I prepare the spirit releasement season, which Vivian and Isaya are a part of. I don't think you are, Cindy, are you? No. Thank you very much.